Yo, welcome to TOPtv. I'm your host, Tef,
Hypnotic.
and you already know
Beyonce's a billionaire.
Beyonce's Billionaire. Like we didn't see that coming. you know.
I thought she already was. So to be honest with you, I didn't even know she wasn't. But it says this Forbes article that we were looking at: a bold pivot to country music led to the most successful concert tour in genre's history, and helped Cowboy Carter lasso a 10-figure fortune, becoming just the fifth musician to do so. So only 5 people have been billionaires. Is that what it's saying?
I think in that, based off
In
that,
the country, in or just in general?
well, no, five people have done. I think that size of thing because it's way more billionaires because of course you have her husband is also a billionaire. So they've been. I think that's why you thought they were or she was a billionaire because Jay is a billionaire. Now she's a
Okay.
billionaire on her own.
Do you think he'd be a billionaire without her?
That's questionable. Like I think like I hate to say this because I it sounds like it would 50 Cent say it, but it's like I feel like when he got with her and she started blowing up, his crossover in like overseas and like how many people knew him with the crossover world, I think that took him to a different level. And then
Now,
his
another debate topic that a lot of people would say is like, do you think it's that crossover that powers him up to be the best rapper in the world? Do you think where does he land in your top 10? Is he in your top 10?
he's in my top 10.
Top
He
5?
no, he's not in my top 5.
Okay, okay. He's not in my top 5 either.
A lot of people, people be mad, you know what I'm saying? Because you got you got the purists, especially the purists from the East Coast, they totally feel that
Mhm.
it gotta be Jay. You know what I'm saying? Like Jay or Nas, you know? So it's like I get it. I get why people feel that way. But with me and Jay, like I've always felt like if I compare him to his age group, and that's the way I kind of gauge it, is like if you look at him in his age group, he's I think a 2 or so years older than Tupac and Biggie. If I compare him to Biggie, and if Biggie still lives, a lot of his songs don't exist because he has so many Biggie lyrics. Then if I compare him to Tupac, he's older than Tupac, and when Tupac was around, Jay-Z wasn't popping like that.
No. I
And
seen Jay-Z first time with DMX, and
I
he
and
was
that's what I'm saying, and he's older than these dudes. So then it's like, then if I take him and I say, okay, well, if you delete Tupac and Biggie and say those are anomalies, that two dudes could be only popping for so small and be the biggest in the world, and I take him and I put him against let's say uh uh even Snoop, who would be in his age bracket. Snoop at that time was reckless.
yeah,
You
Snoop
know,
was reckless.
was the K Snoop, Doggy Style Snoop. Comparative, these aren't comparative. So then you have to take him to the next generation, which would be Eminem and DMX, and then 50 Cent, and then so then that's why he doesn't like to me. But then we're talking about other stuff. So then
Oh
back
yeah,
to
back to the lecture at hand. It's important because I think a lot of what we talk about is how artists can make music a day job, and depending at where you're at on the talent scale of making music, there is an intertwined piece of business that you have to look at, and he's definitely only talked about in this conversation because some of his business moves, right?
I feel it's part of it because
His talent is there, but there's a lot of talented people we don't even know who they exist. So I think your level of business shines your level of talent, and it puts a spotlight on it.
his
But
mixture of business, yes, has got him to put the spotlight on his talent, which he's of course one of the most talented rappers in the world, of course. But inside that, his level of business has got him the, I guess you can kind of say, the eyes put on him to see that he's that good. You know what I'm saying? So then that's dope. As a businessman, he's destroyed everything. It destroyed everybody. You know what I'm saying? Almost. And so and to have a wife now, which I of course this is coming, which I enjoy because she switched genres to country. Everyone hated that she switched genres to country, and then she put on the biggest tour in country history. That is like I love that to death. So like for her to hit that and then have a $600 million tour, this is another reason why we tell artists like you got to do shows. I know artists talk all that like they want to be the streaming and all this stuff like that. And well, then good. This should tell people enough that you can get to the point of being a billionaire based off your moves touring. That says a lot because it's like if you look at I don't know. I think Mr. Beast is a billionaire. But if you look at those like the people who stream, you don't see it musically. You see the streamers like a Mr. Beast and stuff like that. When you see, as I said, with touring, it's people that make tons of money and become millionaires, multimillionaires, and stuff like that, just because their touring is going crazy.
I think it's crazy to me. It's like this: 1 million streams, you might make 3 to 4 grand if you're lucky, and that depends. But to get that 1 million streams organically is almost impossible. Like it happens, and it does happen. But most people they spend ad spend on Facebook, they do playlisting, they're spending money to get those views. So I've met a lot of people that has like 10 million views and they're like, yeah, I haven't really made much money. I've spent more than I made, but they look big, right? But if you do one show and you sell 50 tickets and you sell half of those people merch, you already are making what you would have made off of almost like 500,000 streams. You know what I mean? And you can duplicate that 30 times a month, 60 times a month, depending on how aggressive you are. So even this shirt right here, I made this for Mike Steele. He wanted a design. I made this up for him. He sent me the free shirt, but it's like this shirt right here, it could cost you 20 bucks and you sell it for 50 or whatever. And if you buy enough of them, you get cheaper. So it's like, I think artists need to dive into their merch game and focus in on their ticket sale game because Beyonce, she didn't start. I mean, she had a family behind her. I don't know what was her start. Like, I don't actually know the beginning.
Well, it's Destiny's Child, and like her mom and dad were managers and stuff like that, and they were moving around Houston,
Was
everything
that the
like that.
malls when they were performing malls or no?
Yeah, I think they were doing malls and everything. Now I think Wyclef is the first person to see him, and then get him on. They did that remix and everything like that. So it's like they were doing small venues at one point when they were Destiny Child. That's been so long ago. You know what I'm saying? But then you got to think. I even seen a video that someone posted the other day that was like a super old song where she was singing on it and she was like 15. Like I think it was even before Destiny's Child. So she's always been like like into the music business in some capacity of being a singer. And like so she's like one of those she's almost like basically like a child prodigy if you really thought of it that way. Like
Yeah.
if you're 15 and you're starting off, you're really a child prodigy of music. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, like even though Michael Jackson was younger, but that's like a Michael Jackson or you know what I'm saying, like
Bieber.
yeah, like Bieber and stuff like that. So, but I think people don't think about that with Beyonce because all they think about is when she became Beyonce. I think people even think less of Destiny's Child situation. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like Beyonce. But then inside that, like the grind is crazy. So then you see her come from even if she had labels and people helping her, but she still did the motions of being from like here and then just exploding all the way up. But she's been known to have these big tours. You know what I'm saying? And make big money off these big tours. So for her to get to this point, switch genres and expand the audience, of course, it's going to be her tour is going to hit with numbers that's reckless. You know what I'm saying? Because those people who like those other genres, they're coming along and your old friends ain't leaving. You know what I'm saying? Because they want both.
If you're singing, you have to do concerts. You have to do like nowadays. If I was just a singer, I would be singing covers all day. I would be singing in front of crowds all day. I'd be singing on the streets. We had that one artist, Othello, when he was performing with us. First show he shows up, he does like 2 or 3 tickets. I was like, this dude's so talented. So I was like, yo, even gave him a guest list at a show. Hit the 16th Street Mall and perform all day and talk to everybody you do and get everyone's phone number. And I think the next show he did, he brought over 100 people. And it was, if you sing, that's a special talent. So you have to get in front of the people, because even if people hear you online and play the sing, that doesn't drive you traffic. People can hear your song and forget about you because there's 10 other songs, but it's like in person, witnessing live music live is crazy. Now, if you're a rapper, I think you got to perform live too. I think it's one of the most important things because rappers can intertwine in with the community better. They can do collaborations more. They're not as much in their way with the music that I see, but
And crazy thing about this is this should be like the note that all these artists take. That if the biggest artist, like I would say possibly she's the biggest artist in the world right now. It's probably between her and Taylor. Um, maybe Weekend. I don't know, but if the biggest artist in the world still has to get outside and perform, that tells you everything you need to know. Not to say that she has to, but to see that she still does this. And if you don't want to perform, that says that you don't want this at all. Because if she will do it being who she is,
Yeah.
and still go back outside, and she doesn't clearly does not need by no scope of this. She doesn't have to come outside. Like she could be like Eminem and not come outside and just kind of be like,
Yeah.
"Yo, I'm just gonna put out stuff when I want to, and I don't really care what happens." She could be like that, but for her to be at that position and be like, "Yo, I'm going outside," that means if you're an artist today, you have to be outside.
And she switched genres
And just that
right at the
too.
end.
Yeah, and to be like willing to do that, and then to be this big artist that's watched in front of everybody and be willing to switch genres in front of everybody's face, dudes be scared to rap on a different beat. And
Yeah.
that like that's why I say you can see a lot in people and you can see if they can possibly be successful from some of the things they say. Because if the biggest artist in the world is willing to switch genres dead in your face and be like, yo, this is what I want to do, this is how I'm gonna do it, and you scared to rap on a beat, that says enough of like, you know what I'm saying? Like who wants it? You know what I'm saying? So like that's why I respect this situation so much because you watch it unfold and you see things like this happen, like a switch of a genre, then knock it out the park as the biggest tour of that genre. And it's just like that says a lot.
I think it's also another thing is like I could assume money matters when you get to certain levels, like you want to be the richest or whatever. But I would say more for her as we were doing all these reaction videos too, is like those who just do what they want and authentically just tell what they feel at that moment is always more powerful than the ones who get in the rooms and have the strategic meetings. Okay, we're gonna talk about this subject and do this. And if that ain't really, I believe she really wanted to do country music. I believe it was like
She's from Houston. Like
yeah.
I watch these people get online and talk about she's not country. She's more country than half the people that are on top of country. Because if you go look at a lot of the country artists, like even and it's no diss because like I love Shania Twain. Shania Twain's from Canada.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and
I didn't know that.
Canada. Huh?
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't. I forgot that.
if I was
I
to
didn't.
take like tons of the artists, and you'd be shocked at how many of them from Canada. If I was to say the idea of who is country, like the idea, like it's kind of like being like who's New York hip hop, like who's the grimy hip hop, and you have to say like New York. You know what I'm saying? Who's gangsta hip hop? You say California. If I was to really take music and put it into where it's born and where it like thrives, you know what I'm saying? Like where are the Cowboys? And let's say Texas. Like where are
Yeah.
the people who are doing the most, like the most farms, the most cowboys, the most I'm gonna say Texas. And she's from Houston. So when people try to say, oh, that's not country, no, you just hating. Because she's from the heart of this. And she's a country girl from the heart of this. And the majority of people that you got in the top don't even come from the country. They
I could
just
be completely wrong on this, but did Jay Z put out that Black Cowboy film? Was that before she became
I
country?
think that was right before.
This is now think of this in strategy, and I could be wrong, but just now the way my brain
Jay-Z,
works,
you gotta think of this all the time. You gotta think strategy every time you think Jay-Z, because that's all Jay-Z does every day.
he probably put that film together just to prepare the world for the best black country singer in the world. You know what I mean? Like, and
Fucking Jay-Z, that was probably the setup of a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Like,
wow.
remember when they said the reason his daughter's name Blue Ivy is because that's the next Blueprint album cover?
Hmm.
Or something
Wow.
like that. Like it's like he does this all day. Like he just sits there and goes like, "Oh, like how can I set this up and make this like the best setup for this?" And then it makes sense because this. He's like,
That's influence, and that's what changes the tide in the world. Like it's like I'm gonna make everybody like iPhones or Androids because you can change the whole entire world's perspective and the way everyone moves. Like when he said the death of autotune, that's crazy. And this has been more about Jay Z
he's
than
running
Beyonce.
auto-tune. Yes, he's running auto-tune for years. Like I remember sitting at home being like when we were like, remember we were like telling Johnny, we were like, hey, don't even use no auto-tune on this song.
Yeah.
He says he had made it, so we didn't do it. But then the crazy thing about this is that they're like, because now that I'm thinking about what you're saying, to get people comfortable with black cowboys, because like I don't know if you've looked into this, like originally black cowboys were only black guys
Yeah, I know. I've heard that.
because
Yeah.
they were the white were farm hands, and they called the blacks boys, so they were called cowboys. And so for him to put out a film about black cowboys and then make the comfortability of people going like getting comfortable with seeing black cowboys, and then boom, she comes out with the country album.
Rancher's hands, man.
Classic movement from him. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't put it past him that he has a lot of a hand into that. You know what I'm saying? But she's dope. Like I don't care if you say it's country, don't say it's country. The fact is this country is this gonna get? She's from the country and everything like that. So it's what it is.
Well, the whole point of this conversation, we'll just bring it back before we wrap it up, is she's a billionaire and she wouldn't be that if she didn't tour.
That is, yeah, well, she would be it because her husband. But outside of that,
She wouldn't be it if neither one of them ever performed. There's no way they're in the
well,
conversation.
yeah, if they don't perform, then yeah, because Jay-Z has had some big tours and some big moments that have made him tons of big money. Remember, he bought out Michael Jackson the Summer Jam.
Yeah.
That things that made him iconic has a lot to do with him being outside and touring. Him and DMX, that's where you first seen him, was him and DMX touring. And then you had like the Hard Knock Life tours. You know what I'm saying? Like all of that has all played a big role in what made both of them who they are, which
DMX was and this is for another conversation, but that was probably the best concert. Like just DMX, like DMX alone, like shook. I was right out of high school, I think, when I saw that. But I would say this, a selfless drop for concert real quick. If any artist is ever trying to perform and they don't know where to start, download the concert app, QONCERT, create your artist account, and just start booking shows. And it's that easy. No upfront cost, and we want to make it easy to go from opener, headliner to on tour. And this is brought to you by the concert app.
yep, this is TOPtv. I'm King Tef.
Hypnotic.
Yeah.